I'm Krystal Blackard.
And I'm Lindsay Reynolds.
We're seekers of truth, willing to ask the hard questions and cut through the industry smoke.
On Simplified Success, the podcast, we strip sales and marketing down to what actually works, front end to back end, so you can scale without the burnout.
Because real growth isn't just about numbers. It's about optimizing how your business runs so you can grow yourself, grow your paycheck, grow your team, and grow your leadership.
And most importantly, making it all happen without the fluff or the chaos.
This is Simplified Success.
Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. So we have some cool stuff in store for you guys. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss stuff because I'm about to share. Well, I guess if this is new, I'm Lindsay. This is Krystal. You probably already heard that on the intro. But this particular podcast is really special because we're walking into a new season in our podcast. And so Krystal and I are always in here. We're always going to be riffing. We're always doing all the things, but we wanted to take an opportunity to open the door to some really incredible leaders, thought leaders, and honestly human beings that we happen to be blessed enough to have in our life, and bring them here for you. And so the people that we're gonna be offering some guest series intermittently for the future. And so you're going to see these pop in. Sometimes it'll be Krystal and I, like it has been, and sometimes it's going to be one of us or both of us bringing in somebody that is near and dear to, but either one of us individually, both of us together. And these people that are going to be on the podcast in these guest places are some of the most incredible people that have had the biggest impact on our lives, or impact in their industry, or impact in different places that they've worked. And so when you start to hear these people, these are people that you probably aren't going to hear on other podcasts. These are not people who are thought leaders by trade. And so they aren't technically or even really trying to be on podcasts in a lot of cases. And so you're going to be able to get sort of a back behind the scenes concept to people that you otherwise wouldn't get access to. We are, with this new series, offering to our Team Builder Academy members, the Builder Academy members, new branding dies hard, the Builder Academy TBA members, a backstage pass to even more depths of what these people have to offer. But we are so excited to essentially share our platform and what we have here in this space with people that we know can help add more value for you, help you in your journey, whether you're walking through hard things, whether you're walking through not hard things, how to walk through life. And so we're really excited because we're kicking this entire concept off with an incredible woman who has done what I would consider are things that are nearly impossible for most people. She's built this and Krystal's going to talk more about her in a moment, but she's built this incredible career in a social selling space in network marketing, but not necessarily in one company, not in two, not in three, but she's built multiple businesses over and over. Like what she's done is incredible, but then the depths of what she shared in her story here for you guys in this place is something you wouldn't hear anywhere else. And so we're really excited to have her on, but I'm going to let Krystal do the full intro. Krystal took this interview. It is a two-parter, and it's so juicy. So Krystal, do you want to give kind of an intro of our first guest?
Absolutely. So our first, actually, there are two guests, Nicky and Dave Rempel. This is a two-parter. So you catch this one, and then the second one's going to come right after this one. But Nicky and Dave Rempel are some good friends of mine that I have known for over a decade. We've done life together. We've done business together. We've done like hard moments. We've celebrated together. And I couldn't think of anybody that I was more honored to feature on our podcast as a first guest, because she absolutely aligns integrally and morally and just with her leadership thought process and her just squeaky clean ethics, as Lindsay and I do. And you're going to hear her talk about this on the podcast, but it's super important to note, like, Nicky has conquered 7 network marketing companies. Incredible. But this story isn't really a story about business success. It's about coming out of those really hard places in life and how God carries you and how he's absolutely by your side. And it's really a formula of how to live life well, even when things aren't going your way. And so I'm so excited for you guys to hear from Nicky. And then on the second part of the podcast, you're going to hear from Dave as well. Now, one thing I do want to encourage you to do, if this is something that really touches you or something that you can really relate to, Lindsay and I are actually going to link our forgiveness journal, our untangled journal here too, because we feel like it just aligns so beautifully with Nicky's story, because the base of what she has really walked through is becoming super untangled and super clear in what she values and what she doesn't want anymore. And our free gift to you in this season right now is this untangled journal. So feel free to grab it. You can go to klconsultingco.com. That's K as in Krystal, L as in Lindsay, consultingco.com, and get it directly from our website, or it's going to be linked here in the show notes for easy access. So you guys enjoy this. I hope that it resonates. I hope that you can sit back and just take in Nicky's story and just lean into the beautiful moments, hear the hard, hear the grace that she just endures, and hear the beautiful restoration story that God has absolutely created in her, because it is one of just fierceness but absolute tenderness. So excited for you guys to jump in and take a listen.
Enjoy.
Oh my goodness, you guys, I am so excited. Today is such a special day. Welcome back to the podcast. As you are catching this, you have probably seen several episodes, but today is a monumental day. Today is the first time that Lindsay and I are bringing on guests. And so today you'll notice that Lindsay's actually not here with us. And so we realized just in the mix of life and everything, the chaos, that sometimes it's just necessary to divide and conquer. So Lindsay is here with us in spirit. So Lindsay, we know you're here with us and we love you. And Lindsay and Nicky have actually met before, so that's really cool. But I cannot wait to dive into today's episode, because Nicky and I have been friends for over a decade.
Yeah.
And we have done businesses and traveled and been prayer warriors. And Nicky is a genius, a wealth of knowledge. And I cannot wait for you to bring your story live and help untangle and unpack some of the pieces of your journey. So, and I think I used the word podcast. Actually, I'm going to correct myself. This is actually a simulcast.
Oh.
Because we are videoing and streaming it
Right.
live. So if you're watching this, or you're listening to this, know that there is a video to go along with it. And so today we're just going to jump in, and we are just, nothing is off limit.
Okay.
We're going to bring the
it.
heat. We're going to talk about Nicky's success in business. I'm actually going to I'm actually going to force you to talk about some of your credentials, which I know is not your favorite thing to do because you're one of the most humble humans alive. But the tenacious fortitude that I've seen this woman walk through and do, she collapses time. She takes quantum leaps. She doesn't even, I think, fully understand the impact that she has. And it's absolutely amazing to get to have been her friend through these years. And so, you guys, without further ado, I am so excited to welcome our very first guest on here, Nicky Rempel.
I am so excited to be here. I've never been on one of these.
Isn't it
so
fun?
I'm so excited.
So much fun. Yeah, so much fun. So, quick little backstory about how this came to be. So, as Lindsay and I have been growing and really just letting the podcast process, simulcast process, take place in our lives, we knew that we were going to have guests on here at some point. I was literally taking a nap one afternoon, and I often speak about this, but I always hear the Holy Spirit come to me in a napping situation. And so I woke up from my nap, and God had instantly said, "You're going to have Nicky. She's going to be your first guest." And I was like, absolutely. So as Nicky and I were coordinating this, she happened to be in Texas. You guys, Nicky's from Canada.
I'm from Alberta, Canada.
She's from Alberta, Canada. So the fact that she's sitting here with me in my office in Texas is quite amazing. We scheduled it, didn't work out. We had some life happen. Sent me a message. She's like, "Dave said we ought to just do this in person." And I was like, come on down, sister. This would be so much more powerful. So it's such an honor to have you in my home.
It's such an honor
sitting
to be
here with
you. It actually feels surreal to be sitting here with you.
It does.
Since we've had coffee on Zoom so many times, and I get to see you, but
and
it's
now
always
we
on
are
Zoom.
Doing it in real life.
Yeah.
In person.
In real life. All morning.
All morning. Took a lovely walk.
Yeah.
Because Nicky and I are truly friends in real life. Like, we're actually humans who enjoy a relationship together and just have connected on our God journeys.
Yes, totally.
And a lot of it's been business.
Yeah.
Mothering, wifing, all the things.
Yeah.
So let's just start this out.
Okay.
Because they don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from you. Right, guys? And so anyways, so just... I want to let this just unfold and unpack. And part of the biggest part, well, the connection piece for us was network marketing.
Yes.
That's where we met.
Yeah.
it's where our story started, definitely not where it stopped.
Yeah.
Because we happen to be friends and humans who...
That we don't even work together right
We
now.
don't work together. We have zero income connection. We just truly love each other and have a God connection.
Yeah.
And so take us back to the early years, early Nikki, and how you started in network marketing, because that's how you've made your millions.
Yep.
You've been with multiple companies. You've
Yep.
conquered ranks, trips. You've conquered multiple industries.
Yeah.
So start taking us to
Yeah.
the journey, and I'm just gonna...
Okay, I love to tell. I love sharing this story because it's changed my life, and so I'm 53 years old. I'm a mom of 3 adult girls. My girls are 29, 25, and 23, and my husband and I have been married for 31 years. Most of that years we've owned and operated our own company, our own business, small business that's in the oil and gas industry, and I remember thinking 13, 14 years ago, I wish I had something that I could contribute, right, to our household income. But I didn't. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had no education. In fact, I know here in the States, you guys, I don't know if it's called grade 12, senior. I barely have that. I had to go back to school afterwards to actually even graduate.
Okay.
So 2 years after I was out of high school, I actually sort of graduated. I don't even know if I ended up passing. I've never seen a certificate. So I don't even know if I'm a high school graduate,
That's
to be
interesting.
honest.
I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that you didn't graduate. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay.
So I would say if they had me tested, I probably have learning disabilities. But I've never been tested, but I would say that probably I do. But, you know, our kids were junior high-ish when the first company came my way. And I can remember people saying to me often, oh, you should do network marketing, you should do network marketing, you should be a part of this industry. And it never appealed to me. I didn't want a stock of cleaning supplies in my closet or Tupperware in my closet. I just didn't want that. That's what I thought it was. Until my sister came to me with an idea of a company that I had actually never heard of, and I didn't even know it was network marketing. And back that up, my husband, owns a small business, and it's in the oil and gas industry. If you know anything about that, it's up and down. And so there were some really good years and really good months in our company, and there were some really, really bad ones that, thank goodness, I was a good saver and I was a good money manager because I could manage and stretch
So
money
the first company,
very well.
tell me about the first company. What did you...
So it was called, should I say what it was called?
If you want to.
Okay, well, it was a company called Lioness. It was a company that brought you in for, or that we had to bring this to small to medium-sized merchants, bring a loyalty program to them. So anyways, I have no experience.
It sounds complicated.
It's very complicated.
Okay,
I would walk into small merchants in my community and say, listen, I'm a nobody. I'm an absolute nobody.
Without even
Nobody
a high
knows
school diploma and
Yeah.
not a college education for sure.
And I haven't worked a job.
Okay. You have
I'm
kids.
a mom.
Yeah.
And I would have to sell them on a loyalty program. So anyways, I did it for 2.5 years. I learned a lot in the process. I didn't make any money. In fact, I spent more money than I ever made there.
Okay.
I was 2.5 years. I probably spent $40,000 to try and make this work and got paid maybe $10,000. So you can see I was in the hole during this 2.5 years. And it was
But you thought it was an investment and you kept
it was
on.
an investment, and and what I was doing was I was learning. I was, here was me. I didn't know how to do this industry. I would sit up at night, and I didn't even know back then if YouTube was a thing, but I got onto some things that on the computer, and I would Google how to do this, or how do you build your confidence to do this. And I would literally watch videos. I would watch anything I could get my hands on to just learn how to build my own confidence so that I could do this. Because I had now seen the power of the industry.
Right.
I hadn't made the money yet, but I heard all the stories of the people making money. And so I thought this could really help our family. And it was during that 2.5 years, I didn't make money, but I met people. And along the way, that's where my next company came in, which is where we met. And I had a girl that just simply said to me, I have this product, or I actually seen it on social media. She had a product. She had lost some weight. I messaged her. I got onto the product, and I had a small result, not a huge result on it, but it was very early in, and she just said, did you know you can actually make money with this?
So were you still with the first company? When
I
you started
was.
the second? Okay. So you still were with them.
Yes.
Were you still hustling that current?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I still had the hope that this was I was going to learn enough to actually make an income there. I mean, what I know now today is different. I probably was never going to make a huge income there. I mean, I didn't know anything. I was just brand new in the industry, and nobody could point me in the direction of what a good company would look like. So,
And you had time and energy invested. and learning and growing there.
And I had grown a team, and I was trying to really figure out how do I help them make money, because I wasn't making money. Like, how do I help this team make money? So I did all the research that I could and learned all the things that I could, and went to, conferences or super Saturdays that the companies would have.
Back then, Facebook was a very new emerging thing.
It was a very, and I wasn't using it yet.
Because what year was that probably?
That was in 2014.
So social selling was just barely becoming a concept. Like, people still literally did the belly-to-belly, door-to-door thing.
And that's what I did. I actually created a flip chart, and I would go sit in coffee shops and invite people, and I'd flip this chart and show them exactly
the old school way.
The old school way.
The napkin flip chart presentation.
100%. Right. I made the flip chart. Like, I actually had somebody make me the flip chart, and I sat and built them all and gave them to my team and showed them how to. I didn't even know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But this is what I was doing.
Okay.
Went
so
to a print shop.
Yeah. So like over a decade.
But I had a real desire to do something different for our family. I watched my husband be incredibly stressed out a lot financially to provide for the family, and I just had a really big, I want to be able to contribute, but I don't want to leave my home to contribute. Right. I want to do it at home. Although I was in coffee shops, I was doing all that. I didn't want my time, somebody else to manage my time. I wanted to manage my own time. And so I learned, that it's hard work and that you have to actually do something very different.
Right.
And so, but it was good for me. It was really good. And that's what led me to the next company was so you found the next one on Facebook. I did. I've seen some people posting some results.
So what year was that?
It was the very beginning of 2015.
Okay, 2015. So you saw some people posting on Facebook about said product.
It was a product. They were losing some weight. They looked good. I was like, sign me up. I've been kind of stressed out the last couple of years, put on some weight, and I would love to take it off. So I ordered a package.
So you did not order that package with the intent of doing a business?
No. Not
you were
at all.
Sincerely looking for
I
the
was
product.
sincerely looking for in fact, I still actually didn't understand this industry at that point.
Okay.
I didn't even know how this industry worked. I didn't know there was other companies out there that I could potentially do, or I actually just didn't really understand how this worked at all.
And did you know the person that you came into it with, did you know that person very well?
Not very well, no.
Had you met them in real life?
I had met her in real life. Yes, once I had met her in real life. Once.
Okay.
Yeah, in person.
Okay.
Yeah. So I ordered it, and within 8 days, she said to me, "Do you know that you could actually make money and share this with other people?" And I was like, "Really?" So, and I hadn't been making money, and the idea, I mean, why was I in this industry? Because I wanted to earn an income. So I was like, let me give this a try. So I created a little private, I had just gotten onto social media maybe a year prior to this, but I hadn't even made a post, I don't think, on social media. But I had maybe 200 Facebook friends. So I took my friends, my actual friends, and I put them into a little group, real people in real life, and I put them into this group, and I called it Nicky's something day. What did I call it? Nicky's something day to better health. I can't remember. Something journey to better health. And I stuck about 20 people in there, and I just shared it with them. And I would say 10 of them wanted to order it.
Oh, wow.
So very quickly I was like, okay, people want what I have.
This was like the OG viral. Like this was viral before viral was cool.
This was viral before viral was cool. I'm excited to share more of my story because that little tiny page, later I'll share it, what it turned into for how many people.
Yeah, because that's pretty cool what it did.
It's insane.
Yeah. So, okay, so you started this page.
So I started this page. People started to want to order.
And how old were you at this point in your life?
41.
Okay.
That might have been 12 years ago. How long have we known each other?
It's been over a decade. I think we've known each other for
11 years. Okay, so it was
years.
2015, and we're now in...
2025.
So 10 years ago.
Okay.
So 10 years ago. Okay, yeah. So it was 10 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah. What was your question?
Well, how old were you?
Oh, okay, so I was 43 then.
Okay, because you don't look 53.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you sincerely don't.
I don't feel 53.
And you don't look it, so it's important to note that. You know, just for people that are watching, so people, you know.
Thank you. Yes. I don't feel 53. I would say I feel like I'm 35 or 40.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm stuck there.
Yeah, really great place to be stuck. Right? I know. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you were early 40s.
Yeah, I was 43, I guess, when I started.
And so life was still, you guys were still in that grind, like that struggle season. Like the kids were growing, money was tight.
Yeah.
And talk about your faith.
Yeah.
Because a big part of this story with your business it's really more about your faith journey.
Yeah, 100%.
But as humans, we tend to look at the tangible things that we can hold to make mile markers in our faith journey. So talk about where your faith was at that point.
That's a really good question, because I look back on it and I would have thought my faith journey was... So I was born and raised into a Christian home. Mm-hmm. I married my husband coming out of Bible school. Mm-hmm. He wasn't in Bible school, but we met through a church. And we raised our kids in church and in Christian school. But along the way, I would say... we sort of, there was a slow fade of us stepping away from that. And now you wouldn't have seen it day to day, but I look back and I see a slow fade of us stepping out of that, me becoming pretty focused on money. Mm-hmm. And my husband's journey, which we'll probably share a little bit more about that later, him coming into, he's an athlete, and he'd be like a professional athlete.
Okay.
And him moving more into that, because as I started to make money, he didn't have to work like he had to work, mm-hmm. right? Because mm-hmm. the income was coming in. And our faith, I feel like it was a slow burn of us moving away from it. So it wasn't quick and it wasn't noticeable at first, but I look back and I can see how the money started to become my God. Mm-hmm. And, what Dave was doing started to become his, and we sort of moved away from that. So, it didn't move us closer. But as I share my journey more, I just look at how good God has been to bring us back to that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so our faith journey was a slow fade away.
So you were it's probably safe to say you were probably in a pretty lukewarm place.
Very lukewarm place. Okay. Very lukewarm. I would have called myself a Christian, but there was no fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a fair place. And I think too, just to unpack it a little bit more for people who are sitting in this season, the journey, the desire to grow a business and to have the financial mm-hmm. security wasn't probably a love for money. It wasn't a love for wanting to put your family. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I think that's a unfair comparison that gets made to people that have been in your shoes, top leaders, like, oh, they're money hungry. You know, like there's, and it's not.
It wasn't about being money hungry. It was actually, my whole desire at first was to help my family. Right. Was to help relieve some stress from my husband, to be mm-hmm. honest.
Mm-hmm. Because you probably were going for a better marriage and less stress, looking for
more
beautiful
freedom.
Things. Right.
Being able to travel if we wanted to travel and do things with our kids that we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But what happened was we weren't prepared for the type of money we were making.
Oh, okay.
Right? We weren't prepared for that, and we made some decisions along the way that weren't. We didn't come to God and say, God, what do you want us to do here? Mm. What would you like us to do with this money? How does this look serving you? Mm. And we didn't do that. That's
an interesting thing to pull out of this early on in your journey, because
100%.
Because you did go from being very much like a stable middle class family who has like some stresses. Yeah. And then you very instantaneously got what most people would say the dream.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Very quickly. And that's a really important piece to, I think, extract from you is like early on. Yeah. Talk about that.
Yeah. So exactly. Like we very quickly went from, can I talk numbers? Like,
absolutely.
Okay. So yeah. I very quickly, actually, when I joined this company, I think it was 21 months. I'm not 100% sure, but I made my first $1 million.
Wow.
We're taking, like, this is a girl that doesn't even have a high school education.
Correct. And this was back in 2000.
Didn't ever had a job.
Yeah.
Like, outside of my home.
And so $1 million back then was way more than it was even today.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're in 2025 and inflation and all the things, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
And so it's not like we were bad people. We didn't do bad things with the money.
Right.
It was that it kind of went to, we didn't turn around and say, okay, God, how do you want this to look? Mm-hmm. We just went, okay, well, we have these dreams, we have these goals, we have this, we have that. So we just started to dive into that and put Dave decided to sell our business, and he went full time into his sport. And we just see the slow burn over time of what that led to.
That is such an interesting thing to make note of for people that are starting at that point and that are starting to see some success. Yep. And to really step back.
Yeah, we bought the bigger houses. We bought another truck. We bought a boat.
Right.
And there's nothing inherently wrong with those things. There really isn't anything wrong with them.
No.
But it was, what we also didn't know is and understand, because there was people that tried to share this with us, is that this money might not stay for forever. And we spent it, and we were spending it like it would be there for forever. And
I think that's a really important point to make.
yeah.
And usually often, and almost to the rule, you almost have to make it, lose it, before you figure out.
Yes.
And we're gonna get into that, because Nikki's also gonna share so much of like the spirit journey and her God story, and because those are such important paradigms to understand, to being able to keep it,
or
at least not keep it, steward it is probably a better way to say
100%. I think that's the word I use. It's never ours. How do we steward this?
Okay, keep going. This is
So we got into, I mean, Dave, we sold our business. He went full time into his sport.
Your brick and mortar
money.
Business.
Yeah, we spent money like it would.
Business.
Yes, not our network marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, we spent money like it was never going to go away. Right. And we actually had a few people say to us, "We've known people that this kind of money goes away," and we're like, "No, never going to go away." Well, it does. Things happen, right? Your business is this type of industry. It's like this. It's like this. Sometimes it's like this, and it often has no fault of your own. It's mismanagement of companies or the industry changing and companies not staying ahead with the changes. It's just, there's so many factors involved.
Right.
And as we've seen that change start to happen, panic sets in a little bit, right? And it's like then this puts you on this treadmill of like, I have to work harder, I have to do more, I have to, what else am I going to do? Where am I going to go here or over here? And it just puts you, because now you've created a life that was, your expenses were here and now your expenses are here.
Right. Because it doesn't matter how much money you make. There's these things called taxes and desires and wants and stuff that you
bigger houses that you get a bigger loan for, that you have a higher mortgage payment on.
Right. So then you inequitably tend to just so then it doesn't really feel like you have as much money as you do. You're spending. The output is about the same as the input.
100%. You don't actually have more money.
Correct. And that's where stewardship, and I know you're going to talk about that.
Yeah, and that's where stewardship comes in. That's where it's like to have if we would have had our relationship right with God at the time, it could have been so different. However, there's so much we've learned along the way that we wouldn't have learned.
Right.
And the relationship that I've been able to, the surrender I've been able to give God in this whole journey of this last 10 years, and I wouldn't have learned.
Right.
So I don't see it as a loss. I see it as a thank you, Jesus, for teaching me.
Absolutely. And you carry that well. You absolutely carry that. That's one of the reasons why I think that I've always just loved and adored you, is because you don't hold on to grievances in that way. You absolutely always use your agency in every situation. Your agency is your superpower. And I feel like you've always been really well at never letting go of your superpower. And when you hold on to unforgiveness, you hold on to resentment, you hold on to loss, you hold on to grievances, you lose your agency.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the things that you're very naturally strong in. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never heard that. But I can see how, that's where God has worked on me, for sure.
And it's interesting through the industry, too. I think the industry does tend to, that particular MLM, sales, affiliate, there's a whole, kind of a ball of it. But I do think that industry does tend to produce people.
Yes.
There are,
Yeah, you can't be in this industry and do well in it and not have some significant growth in your life.
And by growth, you mean hardships.
Hardship.
And by growth, she means like
hardships. You can't.
That walk through hell.
The walk through hell. You can't.
Literally.
Yeah. You can't. You can't be a top producer in this industry without walking through hell.
Right. And this has been a career for you.
Yeah.
Because you've not just conquered one company. You've done this over and over and over and gone to the top. Yeah. Which is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I would say you are one of the greats. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I know,
and that's okay. But as your friend, I can speak that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so keep going. So you start this company, and your business starts to explode.
Yeah, it just started to explode.
And I can actually speak to this because I was in this company.
Yeah.
We did some. And I remember when she came in, it was like, we were like, how is she doing this? What do they have in the water in Canada that we don't have here? You know, like what is it? What's the secret?
What's the secret?
What's the secret? And it was so enamoring. It was so much fun to watch you come in and just absolutely explode and hit the rinks and get the trips and get the incentives.
Yeah.
And then
it was fun to do. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was really cool. So
it was really cool.
To that time.
And it taught me so much, like that time of life. But when I look back on it and everybody says to me, what do you do? Like, what is it that you do that creates such success? And I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes.
If I look back on it, it's that relationships have always been important to me. They're more important to me now than they ever have been. But relationship has always been so important to me. So when I have had relationship in my life, I steward relationships well. When I have a friend, they're truly my friend, right? And I've been like that most of my life. I would say I'm a friend collector. And so
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
But I look back and I stewarded my friendships well when I didn't make money from them. Right? Too often I think in this industry,
that's an interesting call out.
Yeah.
That's an interesting call out.
I think people,
because
when you get into the industry, you make friends so you can make money.
You make friends so you can make money, and then it becomes based on the value of reciprocity.
It does.
And that it's okay for a season.
It is okay for a season.
It's okay for a season.
And it will work for a season.
And it will work for a season. But yeah, speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I will. And for me, and then what I was being taught into the industry is make more friends because then you'll make more money. So it became how can I collect friends to make more money? And it worked. I'm not going to lie, it worked.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, and I think
we can't help people untangle and unpack it and see help them get to their God-given purpose.
Right.
If we don't call out the things. And I think that's also a really important thing to point out is as you guys watch, and you know that I'm a big contender of this, I don't ever seek advice from people who can't call out their own faults. And if people will not call out their own faults and absolutely walk in their own truths and be like, oh yeah, I did mess up here, that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
And so that's something I very much appreciate you. Okay, keep going.
I've done lots right in this industry, and I've done so much wrong in this industry. But
you're not blaming other people. You're absolutely taking the blame for yourself.
For myself. It's 100% on me.
Yeah.
You know, I learned something, but I still have discernment. Right? If somebody taught me something, I can still discern that teaching. Is that right or is that wrong? Right? And so I took that teaching and I went, okay, I'm going to make more friends. Everybody I sit on an airplane with, and I was on an airplane every 2 weeks. Trust me, I was flying all over the place. They're going to become my friends so that I can make money off of them. I would.
But also,
but it's not wrong.
But we also kind of justify it by saying, but I'm going to help make their life better too. Because if I make money off of them, they're making money too.
Yeah.
And everybody wins.
Yeah.
And that's not bad.
It's not wrong. No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with it. But over time, the slow burn, my heart became a little bit hardened to people.
To the human condition.
Yep. And I would say that I wasn't sensitive to people's hard times, or they would say, they're struggling in life. That's why I'm not working right now. And to me, it'd be like, just get up and work. This is going to help your life. And so I became a little bit hardened to people's situations in life. And I was putting profits before people. I see that looking back on it now. I can see where that line happened, where I started to put profits before people. And that was sort of the start of the turn for me, of where I could see things that, weren't necessarily positively happening anymore. Yeah.
But at that point, you're also so submerged into the depths of keeping up.
Oh yeah, and all the recognition I was getting, and all the stages I was speaking on,
and it feeds a need, but it also creates, would you say, idolatry?
100% idolatry. Yeah, it totally fed the idolatry of. I don't even know if the idolatry for me was money. It was more probably the recognition, and I'm going to do it different than everybody else, right? That whole. I'm going to be different than everything I've ever known in my life, and everything I've ever seen. I'm going to be different. And it wasn't from a pure place. It wasn't from a heart of wanting to just be and help people be better.
Yeah.
It started to become about me.
It became, yep. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And I think that's too, I think a lot of women justify that thought process in their heads where they say, like, because I do really truly believe a lot of women, when they start to make the money, it's not truly about the money. It's about the recognition.
Yep.
And it's about the way that it's the confidence that they get. Like, it's that feeling of being needed and wanted. And being seen. And the money is a really convenient byproduct because women need security. Yeah. Our deepest need is security. And so when we can create that security, but then what happens is we get that security and that financial. Yep. And then we take the security that God putting it in, you know what I'm saying?
Totally. And the need for God became less and less and less.
Right.
Because I was creating it myself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very much with your world view and very much taking it off of what God
And it was a slow burn. This was over years.
Right. But I think it's important. I think it's an important call out because I can relate to that. Yeah. Because I very much was there too. Okay. And it was very much like a facade. Yeah. And we've had these conversations, you and me personally, just in heart to hearts where you're like, oh, I never knew that. Of course you didn't know that because I was protecting it and keeping it private. I didn't want people to know. Yeah. But it was what I was protecting that was keeping me, and of course people on here know the story, it was keeping me sick.
I was just going to say it was keeping you sick.
And tangled. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so keep going. This is so good. Yeah. There's so many good nuggets here, you guys.
Where was I at? I'm just trying to think.
You were talking about the slow burn, and then the money was being...
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the money just became the idol, and my business started to, go...
Okay, so talk about the money. Else. Talk about the money. Like, I mean, do you mind sharing some real numbers?
Yeah,
you said you were a $1 million earner in 21 months. So but talk about like the realness, because people are like, was it 5,000? Was it 10,000? No.
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 It was, it was between $80,000 and $100,000 a month.
A month.
That's a lot of money.
And you were getting deposits daily.
Yes.
And it was American money, not Canadian money. And American converted more in Canadian dollar. Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, it was... But the crazy part is it was going out as fast as it was coming in. And that was a bit scary. It was a bit scary to me. And it was mismanagement of both my husband and I. I can't, it was just, it was going out faster than it was coming in. We were buying a new house. We were building, building a shop, and we were doing all the things and buying a boat and new vehicles, and it was just, it was going out faster than it was coming in. And it was about that point where we started to see a decline, and that the panic starts to set in, and like, what's happening? And it continues declining, although I'm not changing anything that I'm doing.
So talk about the state of your marriage in that season, and then talk about the state of your kids and like, the dynamic at home. Yeah.
So the dynamic at home, so Dave, it was just at about that point where we decided to sell our traditional business. Okay. Because to be honest, our traditional business wasn't doing well. Okay. And it was actually more financially feasible for us to let that go. Clear it off and just do this, because we were somewhat feeding it some income.
You were fixing it with the other business.
We were fixing
and that's a thing. I think that's another trap.
It's another trap. It is such a trap.
Note to self: if a business isn't taking care of itself,
don't take care of it. Pivot.
Pivot
quickly.
Pivot quickly.
We weren't. We were. Right. It took us a couple of years before we pivoted, and we were feeding it a lot of money, and part of that is my husband.
And that becomes an unhealthy dynamic in a marriage.
Totally unhealthy. And my husband will be here later to share a little bit too. But he got into his sport, and I'll let him share more of that more full time.
Maybe on the next episode.
Yeah, maybe on the next episode. Yeah. And so his time and energy wasn't going into the business. And so that was starting to be a little bit hard to watch, because now I'm becoming the sole provider, not only providing for at home, I'm providing for other families, because we had employees and business. And so that dynamic started to become a little bit tense for us.
And that's a really hard spot to be in when you have employees with families, and that this is it. But then it breeds so much. There's resentment that's getting bred. There's financial unyokement, or I don't know. Not the finances aren't yoked equally for the businesses to actually prosper and do business like Proverbs teaches us.
Yes.
Because it's all actually laid out, right?
It is all laid out.
Interestingly enough.
I know. I've started to read Proverbs every day now. I'm like a proverb every day for the last few months. I'm like, man, I wish I would have read Proverbs.
Interesting. It's just right there. It's all we need.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all we need,
Amazing.
actually.
It's quite amazing.
It is quite amazing. And so, during this time, I was so busy. Dave now sold the business, so now he's home and just doing his sport full-time-ish. And so he's now running the girls to their activities, because we have 3, and
that's a lot.
they're all busy into their. We had competitive gymnasts, we had competitive dancer, volleyball players, rugby players, like all the things. They were involved in everything. So he was now starting to run them around to their activities and do a little bit more of the what I would have called the mom stuff.
Yep.
He was starting to do some of that stuff.
So you could work.
So I could work because that's all I did, and all my kids remember is me on a phone during those years. And I'd say that was about 3 years of. All they remember is me on a phone. And I can remember them asking, Mom, could you just put your phone down just for a little bit? It was constantly this. It was always this. And so, to me, it was like, I'm just doing this for the betterment of our family. I'm doing this for the betterment of our family. That's all that my kids heard. This is for you guys. This is for you guys. And to a degree it was. And it was. But what I didn't understand is there is a balance in everything that we do.
You weren't letting God be the initial protector.
No.
Because I think that's a place where so many of us get.
Yeah. And it all fell on my shoulders. Here's what I told myself.
Yeah.
Everything now falls on my shoulders. So I have to keep going. I have to keep this up. I can't stop. Now we've got more things to pay for and more things on the go. So now there's no stopping.
No end in sight.
No end in sight. And it just became a lot of pressure.
And then the guilt.
And the guilt. And the pressure. And all the things. And it was no longer fun.
Yeah.
It started to become no longer fun.
I think what you just said, like that statement of your kids saying, Mom, just put the phone down, that almost brings me to tears. Because I can relate to that so much with the way my 2 older girls were raised and the guilt that I have about working so intensely and being so unpresent for so long.
Yeah.
Thinking that if I didn't work, they maybe wouldn't eat.
Right.
And I know
and that they would eat, but
I knew they would eat, but that's I think as a mother, that's our biggest fear. And it's like God's word literally tells us he provides for the sparrows. Is he not going to provide for you? But when you're in those seasons and you get so stuck in that cycle,
it is crazy.
And you lose things that you can never get back.
No. No, and it's, and the thing is I look back at all it, it's such a slow burn, you don't see it. And even though I had people say it to me or sit me down and say, Nikki, this is what I see in you. I had wise people sit me down and say that, and I didn't listen.
Right.
I'm like, you don't understand, you don't get it.
Yeah.
But they tried. Yeah. And so...
And you look back on that and you probably really appreciate that.
I do, because there was parts of me that would go and think about it, right? I would go...
It planted a seed.
It planted a seed. For sure it planted a seed. Yeah. And so, it was a time of...
Did that running hard with that, in that business era of your life when you were running so hard, did that have any impact on your health? Did you have any negative health?
Oh, I put on weight. Okay. Like lots of it. Here I am in a company that talks about, weight loss and all the things. And here all I did through that time, I lost a little bit at the beginning and then just put on weight, to be honest, because it was stressful. I was eating a lot. I was drinking too much. And just to cope and get through some of the times. And it wasn't all bad. There were some really good things. And the traveling that we did and some of the places we got to see and the people we got to meet. Like, it wasn't all... It was... But there was something inside of me that was so discontent.
Yeah. The God-shaped hole.
Yeah, the God-shaped hole.
Was not filled.
Nope.
And I think the thing to extract from this is... And I want to just clarify and ask you this. This isn't about blaming anything.
No. Or anybody.
Because anybody can come into any industry. Yeah. But there is a really cool special nuance in MLM, indirect sales and affiliate marketing, where you can social sell. There are some beautiful perks to it.
There is.
It's just understanding that there's got to be some balance and some boundaries and not letting it consume, because it can be so all-consuming. Yeah. And so what I think I hear you saying is it was on you. You're absolutely owning that.
100%.
And saying what a place it led you to that got to be so hard.
Yeah.
And it could have been everything that you wanted it to be, And it didn't have to be or.
No,
right?
That's the thing,
That's
right?
The thing. That's the call
That's
out.
the key, is that it could have been that, and it could have been God. It didn't have to be one or the other.
You could have sped up by actually slowing down.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
And
I've learned that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a call out. And I think that does come with age and wisdom.
Yeah.
But there's also, for the people who are consuming this right now, you don't have to walk through you can make it better.
Learn from my mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like that.
And it probably put a big toll on your marriage too.
Oh, it did. And I don't even think we realized the toll it put on our marriage until, this recent couple years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That the foundation was so shaky now. The foundation was so sandy.
Well, because you were also putting so much focus on the kids too.
Yeah.
And
my husband was all focused on what he was doing in his sport. I was all focused on making money. I was focused on making sure the kids had, they got to go to all their sporting events that they wanted to, got to do everything that they wanted to do.
Right.
With no focus on what does God want. None. No focus on that. Yeah, it's very sad when I think about that. But we've learned, and yeah, it's one of those things that, even people that told me, it's like I had to actually walk through it. I had to walk through the mud and walk through the trudge, and of it all, to actually understand and know how to put God first in all of this. So as hard as it was, we'll talk more about, the rest of the story is even crazier.
Oh my gosh. It gets so much more impactful. This story is just the beginning. Okay, so keep going. So
yeah, where am I?
So you're in the midst of the company, things are blowing up, things are
Yeah.
but then it's also like money's coming in.
Yeah.
As fast as it is, it's going out.
So in the dip, when things starting to go down.
You mean because things do go down?
They do.
Oh.
What
you believe.
Even though I don't change my action every day, it started to go down pretty fast, and I started to panic, and that's where,
because we live in a fallen world, who would think, right?
Yeah. And that's where I decided to, and I'm thankful. This is the part I'm thankful for, is that I had become very open to saying, okay, so in the space of this industry, I'll tell you guys this. Especially when you have a really big win like I had, you think it's going to last forever, and this is your company you're with.
But your win did take a good long, like you had.
It did. I had a good sprint on my win. Yeah, and longer than
4 or 5 years.
Yes, 4 or 5 years
sprint. Win. Like, and that's
that is pretty good. That is like a long time. And what the false sense of security I had was, I'll never have to do anything else. This will always be. I'm planting. No, that's not the right word. I'm branding myself as this. This is who I am. This is the company I'll always be with. I'll never have to do anything else. And that's a bit dangerous in this.
You'll stand on a hill and die on a cross.
I'll stand on a hill and die on a cross.
Burn!
Yeah. Yep. And everybody knows that.
Yes.
Everybody knows that about me.
Yes.
And so when I became open to looking at other ways of making income in this industry, I knew this was going to devastate and upset so many people if they found out, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was just going to be.
Well, and because there was a mindset, a very particular mindset, I think at this point in the industry, that stage where you had to simply be one.
And that's it.
You couldn't, diversification wasn't an option.
No. And if your business wasn't doing well, it was your fault.
Correct.
Right? It was because you're not doing the action and all the things that you need to do to keep your business where it's at.
Correct.
And I will tell you this, that is 100% not the case in my case. If you want to find a worker, I'm a worker. Like that is not what happened.
And very much a person who leads by example.
Yeah.
Like we'll never, one of the things that I've always respected about you in business is you will never ask somebody to do what you yourself will not do. You push from the back.
Yeah.
You are in the trenches. You are in the ditches. You are getting the dirtiest.
Yeah. I will never ask somebody to do what I'm not doing.
Right.
And so there was something in me that was telling me it's time to not necessarily completely move away, but to do something else because you're going to need it.
To add to it.
That's
fair. Okay.
And so I chose to do that. I chose to add to my income and joined another company, completely opposite, nothing to do with health and wellness at all, and decided to learn something new, a new skill, a new company, but keep it completely in private to myself. And in this industry, you have to build, and you have to build with people. What I found was this company would be completely different group of people that I would build with.
Can you say what kind of company it was?
Yeah, it was a trading company. Trading in the Forex markets, the crypto.
Okay, I was like, I don't even know what that means. So hi, I'm Krystal. I'm a professional network marketer.
And I didn't know what it meant
Retired. I understand too, at like a very high level. Trading crypto. Okay.
Trading and crypto and foreign
something I know completely nothing about.
And I look back on it now and I go, didn't completely align with me, but I had learned enough about myself to know that I liked a challenge. I was learning that I was pretty good at networking with people and building communities. And I thought, you know what, I can do this. It's another thing I can do. I could do it on the side. Dave was really interested in learning how to trade at the time. So I thought that would go good. I could build the network. He could learn how to trade and get into the crypto. And
I could probably offer you 5 sentences of wisdom about that particular subject, just to be totally transparent.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I'm like, crypto, okay. So like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
and then that's where it ends. I'm like, and that's those are the 5 sentences that I have.
And I knew nothing about it either. I knew nothing. But I look back today and I go, are we still with that company? No, that company's not even around anymore. But it opened up doors that I see that of what we've done now for investing and some of the things we've done that's been very, very beneficial. And I grew that business and I grew that company and I learned a lot and I met a lot of great people and I made some pretty good money there. And I look at the benefits and the impact of it today. We're still making money not because of the company, but because of what we learned financially, right? And the financial impact it had on us.
Learning, and I think learning when you get really comfortable with numbers, there's a degree of understanding that you can apply to every, because math is pure, it doesn't lie.
Yeah.
You want to go to something that's absolutely always black and white, you can math it out, and you can usually math out any situation. I've learned this in relationships. Yeah. If you take it back to math, you can usually at least solve problems and always find a win-win.
Yeah, totally.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. And I just look at...
And I think that also goes back to like what I said in the beginning about your determination, your fortitude, because you talk about like, I'm a pretty fearless person in a lot and capacities, but
yeah, you are.
Would I ever decide to go into trading and crypto? No, absolutely not. And it's not because I don't think I could figure it out. I just am like, that's just insane.
It is a bit insane. It is a bit.
But it's really cool. It's really cool.
It's like the Wild Wild West.
That's exactly like the digital Wild Wild West. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting to me that was like but also too, like understanding that you had a business over here in health and wellness that you simply started because you wanted to lose some weight.
Yeah.
And then you built this beautiful, amazing business over here, and you had this great check that's the dream.
Yeah, it is the dream.
Is to be able to create a check that you can live on.
Yeah, and you can, and if you want to walk away and do something else, you can, and it still pays you.
And that's the dream. And so
that's the dream.
So it's interesting to me to be like, oh, so when you pivoted, you went to something not even completely opposite, like so far that they're not even in the same universe.
Not even the same.
Because people in health and wellness, I'm just gonna tell you.
They're not going to do.
They're not going to do. I just can speak to that.
Yeah, it's true.
I just can speak.
It's a completely different crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a completely different
Probably
crowd.
most of them don't speak English.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of...
And most of them were a good 20 years younger than me.
Right. You were probably the anomaly.
I was like the anomaly.
Female,
and I was a
you were
white
the minority.
female.
Yeah.
And in my late 40s.
Probably there's a lot of people that are overseas that...
Yeah. And in that 20 to 30 year... was very that was about the most.
You're probably dealing with a lot of millennials.
Yeah.
Are you a millennial? No, you're
what am I?
You're Gen X.
Gen X,
You're
yes.
Gen Xer. Yep, I'm a millennial. Okay,
And they were. I would say the average age was between 20 and 30 years old of that
so you're dealing
company.
With a bunch of millennials.
Yeah.
And
maybe mostly men.
Ooh, millennial men.
Mostly men.
I can say that.
And most of my other company was women.
Right.
I would say 95%, 98% of it was women, and I'd say 95% of it was men over there.
Okay.
So it was just a very different, kind of fun to work with some men that they just see things differently.
They do.
Yeah.
Less drama.
Yeah, less drama.
I mean, that's just a blanket
They're not scared to pay for something.
Yeah.
They don't go and ask their wives.
Yeah.
Right? They just do it. Because one of the biggest things I got to talk to my husband. I never heard. I have to talk to my wife. Never heard it.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Because when women are making purchases, and I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's cute. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just completely different.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay, so what? So it's something just like inside you. You were like, okay, I need to diversify.
Yeah.
Which is super smart, super strategic, super wise. And as we're in 2025, I think if you go back to 2019, people didn't talk about diversification back then. It was like one stream, Then,
I think COVID really opened that up.
It did.
Yeah.
Because everybody was at home terrified, and that was a very good
thing. And they realized, okay, gosh, what I have isn't.
But you were kind of like, there's that song, I was country before country was cool. You were diversified before diversification was cool. Yeah. But it came at a cost. It was hard.
Or it did come at a cost. It came at a very large cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, because I mean, I'll give you some honest numbers here. It was probably 4 or 5 months I was building that company very privately because I didn't want to distract my team. I didn't want to distract, what we had what I had going on at that company. I also knew that as one of their top leaders and somebody they put on their stage and somebody that they put in higher regard, that I had impact over people.
Right. And you held that like
I did.
To whom much is given, much is expected. You held that very closely.
And I knew, like you being one of my closer friends there, if I would have told you, that would have distracted you going, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I honestly had no clue.
Yeah, no, you had no clue.
We were running buddies in that other company.
Yes,
yeah. And we actually pushed each other. You pushed me to hit a very large rank over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did the same for me. So it was like, but what I did understand is that my actions impact other
Discretion
people.
is a very rare trait in women, by the way, and so good on you for that. Because discretion is not something that a lot of women can master. Interesting. Yeah,
Interesting.
It's one of the things that makes it really hard. Women tend to. So, anyways, discretion. So pulling that out of you too.
Yeah. So I chose to do it very privately and very quietly, discreetly.
Yes.
So that I didn't distract people, and
very wise business.
And I really loved the company, and I didn't want to hurt the company. So I did it on the side very quietly. And about 4 months in, and I was doing very well. I was still working the other company. I was working both companies, and it was then that when the company found out, the first company I was with found out, it was hard for them, and I don't blame them. And there was a part of me that's like, I get it. That's like when you have a top leader that is doing something else, it can probably be pretty personal,
feel threatening. Yeah,
and threatening, and maybe even like what's wrong with what we have.
Right.
Right. It can be a very personal thing, and so that's where a bit of the beginning of the end of that started for me when they found out I was doing that, and it wasn't against any of my policies and procedures. I was allowed to do another company, and some companies you're not. In our company, we were. And without going into detail, it was about a year journey of my paycheck being cut off and me resigning because I didn't want to comply to some of the things that they wanted me to do that didn't feel fair to me. And I wanted the freedom to be able to create income how I wanted to create it. And that wasn't going to be okay with them. And so I chose to walk away from that paycheck, which was a very large paycheck.
So you walked away from it. Interesting.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I chose to resign my position there, and
that must have been terrifying.
Oh my gosh, it was very terrifying because I walked away from a very large paycheck.
Wow.
And I wasn't receiving that kind of paycheck yet.
With the new
so this
venture.
Yeah, so this is part of the journey of this networking that I've been on is knowing when and how to pivot and why. Why would
and your faith must have been growing because when we
I was still very much it's about me.
Yeah.
Like I can do this. I'm going to be able to work through this.
That's interesting.
Yes. I can work hard enough. I can bring in enough. I can do this. And and you can work hard enough to do that. I can work hard enough to do that. And I did.
You did. And so interestingly, so that wasn't the rock bottom. Walking away from that wasn't your rock bottom.
No.
Interesting.
Wasn't.
For a lot of people, that might have been.
Right.
It might have been. That does speak to your resilience, though. And do you often find, like, in leadership, because as a leader, as a top leader who has led diverse crowds of humans in all kinds of walks and cultures and just diversity, don't you find that our biggest strengths can sometimes also be our biggest weaknesses?
Oh, 100%.
Like,
oh my gosh.
To a fault.
I am so independent, and so I can do this. That's one of my biggest downfalls.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. One of my biggest downfalls is, like, I'll just figure it out and I'll do it.
Yeah. Wow.
But
so much good. Oh my
but
goodness.
man, has God, like, chipped that way
But God, and there he is sitting there like, I really have the solutions. If you would just listen for 5 minutes. Yeah. Right, let that be a lesson to all of us who are not.
Yep.
Okay, so.
Because he's got to, I mean, he had to break me, and he had to break me bad for me to realize and understand that.
Wow. Okay, so I want to point out something here, too.
He didn't break me. Life broke me, and he said, I'm here to help you pick this up.
Back up. He allowed it.
He allowed it.
You had free will.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Because he loves us so much, he gives us free will.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a myth that I want to call out, just two people who have been in the industry, and I've only ever built one company, and that's all I'll ever build because it's all I ever have the capacity to do. I will never build another as long as I live. Not network marketing. I have other business ventures, but never again will I do another network marketing. But I think it's a myth that if you'll have success in one company, you'll never be successful in another company.
Ugh.
Have you heard that
so much?
And it's almost, and I think that there's a lot of people who buy into that.
Yeah.
I know I did.
Yeah.
And it hurts my heart to think that I allowed myself to buy that, because it speaks to, it almost takes away the power of what God has designed us to do.
It is such a myth, and it was terrifying for me, to be honest.
But you broke that myth.
I did.
Did you break that myth?
I was terrified because I was terrified I was a one-hit wonder. And that I was never going to be able to, because I had heard it so many times where I was at, that you'll never move on. Because of what we have here, you'll never be able to do this somewhere else.
Right.
And I was really scared. I was actually, I mean, I shouldn't have been scared, because I should have actually been leaning into God, and that's the whole story here. But I was scared that I couldn't do it again. But I actually have been given a God-given ability and talent. You know, to be able to.
Really? You mean God gave you a talent
to actually do it in multiple places?
Turns out, and in different
ways, and in lots of things in life, and so that I could actually take what I learned and the skill that I learned, and I could apply it other places.
Really? Isn't that amazing?
And still do amazing things.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be snarky about that, but it's just such a terrible, cringy thing that I've heard.
It is cringy,
and
so
it hurts
cringy.
my heart. And I think too, part of this conversation is really to debunk a lot of junk, because I truly love the industry that we both
I do
grew
too.
up in.
I love this industry.
It, and I love what it does for people, and I love what it did for me. I love the fact that it brought us together, and we have this friendship because of it. Like, this is a friendship that money couldn't divide, that countries and borders can't divide. Like, here we are. You are literally not an American citizen. I am not, and here we are. It just,
I know.
And so this industry
it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful, and there's so many wonderful.
In so many ways.
Being able to bring out and debunk some of that junk.
Yeah.
And
because
really,
it is a beautiful industry.
And there's so much beauty. And now, with everything big, there's always going to be problems.
There's always there's people are involved. So when people are involved, you're going to have the same thing you're going to have at work.
Relationships, kids, anything.
Schools, like anything. There's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly in everything.
There's definitely an overarching theme here that you can avoid it at all. Avoid it, if you will. Yeah. But okay, so I want to
be the difference. That's what that's now where I'm at. It's like, I want to be the difference. I want to make the difference. And I want people to have a better experience inside of this industry.
So good. Okay, so keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, so you parted ways with that check.
I parted ways with that check, and
it was hard.
It was hard, and I went on. Quite a few months had passed. I was continuing to build my business, my other business that I was building, and one day I get a knock on my door and I open, can I share this? Yeah. I open my door. Okay.
This is your story.
This is my story. Okay. I open the door and there's a stack of about, I don't know, that big. There's 3 boxes and they all ended up about that much. And somebody said to me, sign this paper. And I didn't know what I was signing. I was just like, of course, there's a box at my door. Present.
Did I get a present? Did I get a present?
And it was not a present. I opened the box and it was a lawsuit.
Oh.
And so
That's not a present.
No, it's not a present. And so I ended up with a lawsuit on my door. And I'm not going to go into deep detail about this at all. Because there's no need to. Because at the end of the day, you know, this is like, 4 years ago now, I guess. Oh, gosh, time goes by fast.
Maybe longer.
Maybe longer.
Yeah. Maybe 5 or 6.
Maybe 5 years ago. Wow.
I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah. And, you know, there was quite a few months that we had to deal with this and we had to do court and all the things. But what I learned from that is that I can do hard things.
Oh.
Right?
Yep.
I can do hard things. But I also learned that everybody's just doing the best that they can do and what they know how to do to protect themselves, right? And to protect their companies and to protect. And I'm just so thankful that God, you know, worked on my heart even during that time to go, you know, it's something I have to do. I have to go through this. I have to get through this. But in a sense, I knew that I was going to go through this and get through this because I was going to help other people do the same thing at some point.
Yeah.
You know?
And maybe it's not a lawsuit. Maybe it's just a hard thing that you get to help somebody walk through. Like, it doesn't even have to look the exact same.
No, it doesn't even have to look exactly the same. And the most amazing, beautiful thing about all of that is the people that I had that were part of that and did that. I've actually been able to sit and have lunch with them. I've actually been able to sit or have a Zoom call with them and just, you know.
So God's grace.
God's grace.
And forgiveness. And
100%.
not hanging on to that resentment and that heart. Wow.
I have zero resentment. I have no... It's like life is too short. And I loved those people.
And it's like you have this really beautiful ability to see the good and to not hang on, like, and be like, you know what, you're human and I forgive you for that, and we can still connect over the facts that we do love certain things, and that's beautiful.
And I can see their perspective.
Yeah. Wow.
Of how they needed to protect their company, right? Did they do it all the right ways? No. It was very hard and it was hurtful and it was, but you know what? I've been hurt. I've hurt people. I've done things that hurt people. And so it's like, you know, I'm just thankful God has just so softened my heart in these areas of like, you know, life's too short.
Life's too short. Wow. That's an amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I still have a high regard for those people. And I don't want to lose, I didn't want to lose that. And so I was thankful that, you know, I was traveling into the States and I sat and had, you know, breakfast with one of them. And then I did a Zoom call with another one. And then I had lunch with another one. And I was just like, you know, we loved each other. You know, let's let all that go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
thankful.
so that kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And so then there was kind of this middle time.
Yes.
I don't want to get into your next big venture yet because I just probably want to save some of that for Dave being here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. But talk about like that in between because...
Yeah. There was a big in between. A very big in between of who am I, what am I in this industry, and what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, or what is my passion right now? And so, you know, I did multiple things. And I started to talk about how it's okay to do multiple things in this industry. And people start to reach out to me. They're like, can you do multiple things in this industry? I'm like, I do. And I can. And will I make as much in one as I would make if I just did one? Probably not. But for me, I was okay with multiple streams of income, doing different things, and discovering what it is that I wanted to do.
Oh, that's interesting. I love that you were honest and you said, can I make as much as if I only focus? Probably not.
No.
I love that honest candidness because it's like, sure, if you put all of your efforts into this, you could probably take it all the way.
Yeah.
Right?
But I was at the point.
But you were also at the point where you're like, man, there's some security in...
Yeah. Multiple things. And honestly, I didn't want to be on stages anymore. I didn't want companies. In fact, I said no to one of the companies that asked me to speak on their stage. I said, please don't put me on your stage. I don't want to be in front of your people. I don't want them to see me as a certain way. I just want to be in the background and do my thing so that I can do all the other things.
Okay, how many companies have you built? I think everybody's curious. I don't even know the answer. I know. Okay, let me take a guess. Let me take a guess because I think maybe I get. I know of 5.
Okay, it's been 7.
Okay.
I think it's been 7. I think
Okay.
I counted.
Okay. But
and-
that speaks to also your discreetness, because we're good friends and we talk. We have heart conversations, and I didn't even know that you had done 7 companies.
Most people on my social media wouldn't know what I do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Because I've just chosen not to put so much of it out there, right? And
you
kind of build the old-fashioned way.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a little bit on social media, very little. But
and you pick and choose now.
Yeah, I pick and choose. And I am very much of the mindset, if you want to go to the top of something, you're going to have to focus on one thing. But if you want to have some diversification, but you can't do it all on social media. I also like to teach people how to do this, because there is a right and a wrong way to do it. Because when you're in these companies and you're getting to know people that aren't on your team, like I got to know you. It's not right for me to do something and put it all over social media and distract you. Right. That is actually that's not integrous. That's not a way for me to act of integrity inside of this industry. So there's an integrous way to do this kind of stuff. And that's what I'm really passionate about showing people.
Well, and then the fruits of that are so, like, when you plant those seeds and you nurture those seeds built in integrity, the fruits that grow from those are so monumental.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you plant and you reap out of zero character and out of cheating and out of like that just money grab,
that's some of the things I've learned in this journey of this last 12 years.
You will harvest that same junk.
Yes. Is like put people before profits. And part of that is doing if you want to build multiple things, do it in integrity, right? So putting people before profits, because your profits will suffer. You will not catch as many people as putting a post out there on Facebook. You'll have to actually do the work of whatever it is that you're doing on the side, right? But there is a way of doing it with integrity.
Oh, wow.
100%.
It's so good. So good.
Where you don't get sued and you don't get all the things.
Nobody
wants to do that.
Nobody
twice.
wants to do that. I think a big overarching theme of this is like, look at these amazing values that Nikki is telling us, and she's saying this works. And I think she's also, you're being so candid about and so raw about, but I also did it this way and this didn't work.
Yeah, and it was icky.
And I think the fact that you can call yourself out and say, oh, it was icky. It didn't feel good.
Yeah.
Because 99% of people, but that also, to me, in my books, what I really rate human experiences and relationships is the people that are willing to eat crow. And I've always said, like, not perfect at this. No, me neither. I'm gonna get all these phone calls and texts and be like, "You never ate crow for this." Okay, we'll have a conversation. Probably my children are the most ones that are gonna call me out. But if you're willing to eat crow and look at yourself, and first of all, like, always point back and be like, "Man, this is what I did in the situation." Even if that other person did 10 things wrong, I own at least what I did wrong.
You have to.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing you say, and that's such a beautiful. That is very much a high sign of high emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
But it's not cheap.
It's not cheap, and it
easy
didn't
cost.
And I haven't always had it. But now I'm so thankful, because God's changed my heart so much that way, so that when I'm talking to somebody, let's say they're saying, "Well, that person did that," and only thing that I can think of is like, "Well, what did I do? What was my response? What did
going internally
and going, what could I have done differently?" And yeah, it's not perfect. Oh my gosh. Like, some days I'm like, man, I could have done that better yesterday.
Yeah.
I could have dealt with that situation better yesterday. I could do this differently. But, it's like sanctification. It's over time.
But I think for somebody coming on too, like if we were sitting here, because we are talking to people who are, the person watching this, you are probably new in this industry. And I think these are really important values and things that you can glean from this conversation, because I think we all look back and I can think of several instances where I was not doing things in integrity.
Yeah.
I let money, I let greed, I let people, I let profits over people skew my view, and I learned some hard lessons from it. And I think looking back, like, that's something that you can absolutely extract from this.
Yeah.
And not have to go through some of those hard.
No, you don't have to do that, because you can. And in fact, I believe you'll be more successful in this industry.
That you like to teach that now.
Yeah. Yes, I like to teach that now. And in fact, I have we'll talk about my current thing later. But I do have a current situation happening right now inside of my business. And there's some people that don't actually agree with how I'm dealing with somebody, but it's because I'm actually dealing with God on it. And God is saying the relationship is more important. And the integrity of walking through this and having that friendship still is more important than what financial benefit could come of it.
I love that, because you're putting God at the top of everything. Money, it's not money and then God.
No.
It's God, then your relationships.
Yeah. And then my business.
And that's what's preached. But it's what's taught, but it's not what's often caught.
Right? And it's what's taught, but it's not often what's shown.
Or even applied, right?
Or applied. You'll hear most companies talk that talk. Very rarely will you see them walk that. And I just want to be the difference. I just want to, even if I make less money. And gosh, I probably will.
And that'll be okay?
And that'll be okay, right?
Wow.
But if I can make the difference in showing people that the amount of money doesn't actually matter.
It
right?
doesn't define your worth?
It doesn't.
Oh,
it used to.
Amazing.
It doesn't define my worth at all anymore.
Amazing.
I know. I used to post my money online. Like, what?
I know. We've all had those cringy moments.
Like, what?
I know.
I used to do that.
Oh.
Ugh. But
as my 12-year-old would say, that's so cringe, Mom.
Yeah.
We all need a little 12-year-old.
I even had some people say to me, why do you do that? Because I used to think it was like attracting people to me.
It's inspiring.
It's inspiring.
It's inspiring others to join. I'm like, no, it's actually inspiring only the people you don't want to join.
Right.
That's actually
very true.
Yeah.
Very true. So it's I mean, we'll get to share my story, but the crazy part is putting God first has been probably the best financial decision I ever made.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's a nugget.
It's been the best financial decision I've ever made. And well, I still make mistakes, and I still, but we'll share a little bit more of my personal journey and my husband and I's story on the next episode, I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's just quickly recap. So you've been in 7 companies.
Yes.
You've made how many millions?
I don't know.
Just because it's interesting.
I'm gonna guess to say 4.
Okay. 4 million in the industry.
Maybe 5.
5 million in the industry.
Yeah.
And here you are. Wow. Okay. This is going to be so cool. Okay. So definitely be back for part 2. Part 2 is going to be really good. It's where we really get to the meat. We really had to set this up.
Yes.
And if you think part 1 was good, wait till we get part 2. We're going to have Dave in here.
Yeah.
For some of it. And,
yes. It'll be really good. It'll be, the story just gets crazier and better and more God. And it's just
so good.
Yeah. It's been a journey.
So good. So, okay. We'll
All
see you guys soon. Okay, guys, that was part 1 of an amazing, beautiful, fierce, and just tender journey that Nicky shares. Some really hard places that she just was really vulnerable with our audience about. And again, if you are just feeling like this, like you're feeling really seen, you're feeling really just raw and vulnerable as Nicky's sharing her story, and you're like, man, I really want to untangle this for myself too. Again, Lindsay and I have a tool available for you guys. One that I know that will very much help you on this process, our Untangled Journal. It is linked here in the show notes, or you can go to klconsultingco.com and grab it there directly on our website. That's K as in Krystal, L as in Lindsay, and then consultingco.com. And I really encourage you to go ahead and just jump right into the next episode, because this is where her and Dave really get super vulnerable and super just raw about their journey together as a couple, and talk about the amazing journey that God has led them on, the restoration, not only in their businesses, but in their life, and some of the really hard lessons that they've learned along the way, and the way that they're unpacking them and learning to lead together in the purpose that God has put on their life. So really excited for you guys to continue on.
Make sure that you're subscribed, so that way whenever it drops, it goes straight to your podcatcher. If you're catching this not on the initial, then you can go straight to it. If it'll be there next week. So make sure you're subscribed to our podcast, so that it'll go right wherever you subscribe to podcasts. You'll get it right away. And if you're not already on our email list, you can get email that way too, if you prefer not to be subscribed. So either way, we can't wait for you guys to catch the second one. See you guys back next week.
See you there.
If today's conversation helped you see your business more clearly, make sure you hit follow so that you don't miss an episode.
And if you're ready for more support, join us inside the free Simplified Success community. It's where we share resources, strategies, connections, and you really get to hang out with a lot of cool other growth-minded entrepreneurs.
Simplify your strategy, multiply your results, and make it happen. This is Simplified Success.